Susie Evans with Yoga Voyager. Welcome today. We've got a very special class called Yin Yoga. And Yin is where we hold the poses for, a typical Yin class is 3 to 5 minutes, but for today we're just going to do it about 1.5 minutes. I'm going to talk about all the great benefits that you're going to get from this class. I'd like you to meet my model, Dirk Evans. He's a programmer at Fast Direct. I need to actually time him. So I'm going to be sitting here on my phone, and Dirk is going to be your model and show you things to do today. Now Dirk has some props with him, and things that you can do with the prop is Dirk can take that blanket and put the blanket underneath the sits bones, and that'll take some pressure off that low back. Or Dirk likes the flatter block, so that's the block that he likes to use. Or if you like a bigger block, you can use the green block. Or if you don't have a block, that's okay. You can use a soft book. Perfect. Okay, Dirk, so you go ahead and modify what's right for you. And you can modify what's right for you. And get into a comfortable seated position. Now, Dirk likes to sit crisscrossed. Some people like to have their legs extended out. Some people like a combination of that, one leg in, one leg out. Some people like a V-sit, whatever feels comfortable to you. So go ahead and take the shoulders up and roll them down. Have the left hand onto the heart, the right hand onto the stomach, and we're going to get into that deep Ujjayi pranayama. Those nice deep breaths coming in and out through the nose. The eyes are closed, we're relaxed. We're getting into this breathing pattern here, and if you're ever wondering why are we doing this breath, why is this breath so important, I'll tell you why. 5,000 years ago, the Indians, they were actually scientists, and they observed nature, and they looked at the animals. They looked at the elephant, the python, the turtle, and noticed that they led very long lives. The turtle only has 2 to 3 breaths per minute. They looked at the other animals, the dogs, the cats, and the rabbits, and they lead a very short life. A rabbit, for example, has anywhere from 30 to 35 breaths per minute. So they came up with this breath to lead a longer life. And they did. And today, fast forward 5,000 years, we know all the history and the medical benefits of this breath. And I'll share that with us today throughout the Yin practice. So it takes us a moment to get into that. So just be calm and be patient with yourself. And slowly open the eyes. Our first pose we're going to do is child's pose. This is really good for the low back stuff. Dirk is going to get onto his knees. The knees are going to be spread. And toes can be together. Now, Dirk, can you show them how they can use a blanket to put underneath the glutes? Not everybody's glutes can touch their heels, and that's okay. You can put a blanket or a block down. And not everybody can get their forehead onto the ground. So Dirk, can you demonstrate? Yeah. And that helps support the head. So you decide whatever way you want to. Dirk, you're going to go ahead and get into whatever feels comfortable to you. You haven't lost that connection to the breath, and I'm going to put this on. My timer's on for 1.5 minutes. So what does Yin do? Well, Yin, normal yoga classes, it gets into the muscle and connective tissue. Yin gets into the, beyond the muscle and connective tissue, gets into the fascia, which is the saran wrap around our organs, and it gets into the ligaments and joints. So all that oxygen, alkaline-rich circulation you get from breathing deeply in and out through the nose gets to all of those places. And it's actually a very healing form of yoga. So I'm just going to be quiet here. This is a time for you to actually, instead of exercising, you're going to be innercising. So I just want you to follow the deep rhythm of that breath. If at any time this pose gets uncomfortable, come out of that pose. You don't have to stay here for 1.5 minutes. come out of that pose, we're gonna hit a trigger point on the front of the lobe of the forehead. And it's gonna massage that frontal cerebral cortex. So Dirk, keeping your forehead on the mat, just kind of rotate the head to the right and to the left, just to massage that frontal cerebral cortex. The Indians call that area Supani Marmi. And it's going to increase that relaxation response even more. And gently stop. Okay, we're going to come out of this pose. So Dirk, go ahead and take your blanket out. You're going to get onto your hands and knees. The hands are going to be underneath the shoulders and knees are under the hips. We're going to do some cat-cows for that spine. So inhale the heart between the hands, and exhale, gently arch that back. Inhale the heart between the hands, and exhale, arching that back. Inhale, heart between the hands, exhale, arching that back. Very good. Come back to neutral spine. We're going to go into plank position. So the hands are going to stay over the shoulders. You can either come onto the toes, Dirk, or can you show them what it's like when you're on the knees? So you can either be on the knees or on the toes. Dirk's going to personalize what he wants to do. And slowly lower the arms on down until you're lying down. When the arms get down, we're going to go into a pose called Sphinx pose. This is we just did a forward bend. This is an external rotation. So you notice that Dirk has his elbows under the shoulders, and the arms are parallel like railroad tracks. His glutes are relaxed and the toes are uncurled. So we're going to go ahead and start here. Again, if this doesn't feel comfortable to you, I'm just going to ask that you just skip the pose, but stay connected to the breath. So we talked about holding the poses and the benefit for that. Yin Yoga actually targets the spine, the hips, and the pelvis. So that's what we're going to hit today. We got the spine doing a forward bend. Now we have the spine doing a backwards bend here. We're counterposing these. So Yin is very popular on the East and West Coast. We started seeing it here in the Midwest. We live in St. Louis, Missouri, and we started noticing it a couple of years ago. But there's a lot of healing benefits to this, and a lot of professional coaches are using Yin Yoga once a week for their athletes. They're finding out that their athletes have fewer injuries, and they're stronger athletes for doing this. Again, a typical Yin class, you'll hold the pose for 3 to 5 minutes. We're just holding them for a minute and a half, and that's all that you need to get these benefits. So I'm going to be quiet and let you innercise a little bit. To come out of the pose, just slowly lie down. Go ahead and cross the arms in front of you. Opposite hand, opposite elbow. Yep, Dirk turns his head to the left. Go ahead and do that. Just take a few breaths here. This is called crocodile pose. It's a recovery pose. Dirk, gently, at your own pace, turn your head to the right. Still breathing nice and deep. And come back to the center. And Dirk, go ahead and roll onto your back. We're going to stay on the back the rest of the class. So have your props close by.
Should I face the way?
You're fine. All right, so now we're going to go into lying tree pose. So Dirk has his left leg extended out. Have the sole of your right foot come next to that and open that knee out. Very good. And go ahead, we're going to come into what's known as field goal position. So allow the elbows to come on either side. Dirk's got his arms back. And I'm going to go ahead and start this here. And this is a lying tree pose. And what this does is it's getting that right hip, that inner pelvis, the inner leg. By Dirk having his arms in field goal position, it gets the front of the arms, the front of the shoulders, under the collarbone, and that sternum plate. He's still breathing nice and deep. He hasn't lost that connection to that breath. So you hear me talk about that breath a lot, and it's really important for a lot of reasons. If it's a chilly day outside, it does warm you up from the inside out. And it helps boost your immune system a couple different ways. Studies show when we exhale through the nose instead of the mouth, we exhale more toxins, more carbon dioxide. Also, when we inhale through the nose instead of the mouth, we inhale 600% more air. That gets a lot of extra oxygen, the little sacs in our lung called the alveoli. And over a period of just 5 minutes, that extra oxygen actually changes the pH of the blood, making it more alkaline, which is very healing to the muscle and connective tissue we're opening today. So I'll just stop there and let you have a couple of seconds here, just completely relaxing and innercising. Dirk, I want you to float your hands down to either side of the body. Take that right hand on the outside of that right leg and use that hand to guide that knee up. So the sole of the foot is now on the mat with the knee facing up towards that ceiling. Dirk, I want you to very gently bend and hug that right knee into the chest. All right, as we're doing that, we're very mindful that the tailbone's not arching up, but the tailbone's arching up, come out of that stretch. That's a sign that that's hard on that tailbone. We're gonna hold this for a minute and a half. We're going to continue on with the benefits of breathing deeply in and out through the nose. I have, living here in St. Louis, Missouri, I have a chronic stuffy nose, but during my daily yoga practice, it does open up both nasal passageways, so that extra oxygen to the brain feels really, really nice. Also, it naturally lowers the heart rate, naturally lowers the blood pressure and cardiac rehab. If somebody's heart rate gets too high or their blood pressure is too high, they can't have them come into this breath. It takes about 2 to 5 minutes. But their heart rate and their blood pressure does drop about 10 points each. It also increases something called the parasympathetic response. That's our relaxation response. It helps us get more and more relaxed, and that's exactly what we want in this yin class. I want you to be nice and relaxed, calm, centered, and just really enjoy this. I'm going to be quiet here. Let you guys enjoy this time. Yeah, I'm watching my stopwatch here. All right. Dirk and everyone else, keep the knee where it's at, but drop the hands to either side of the body. We're going to give that left or the right hip a soft massage. This is going to come from the lower abdominal region. So the spine is still, the left glute is secure. You're going to rotate that knee towards the right. Slow, gentle circles, nice deep breaths. Gently stop, go the opposite direction. What this does is opens up the muscle and connective tissue, allowing all that oxygen, alkaline rich circulation to get in and be healing. And gently stop. Hug that knee back in, take a couple more nice deep exhales. And just for somatic reasons, I want you to hug both knees in. I want you to compare the hips. How does that right hip feel compared to the left hip? Probably a lot better. So what I'm going to have you do now is we're going to do the left side. So go ahead and extend the right leg out. Go ahead and have the sole of that right foot or the left foot on the mat as we go into lying tree pose. Just open that knee out to the left. We're going to come back into field goal or cactus position with the elbows at shoulders height. Fingers are up towards the ceiling and slowly take them back. So we lead, everybody's seen that yin and yang symbol. And what we're trying to do here with yin yoga is we're trying to balance out. We lead a very young lifestyle. We lead very busy lives. And yin is the actual opposite of that. So we're trying to balance the yin and the yang out. And think of it as driving down an interstate highway during rush hour versus driving down a country road. It's two opposite effects. You know, too much yin is not good for us. We get burnt out. Too much yang, we get burnt out. Too much yin, we can be lazy. So we want a nice balance between the yin and the yang within our lifestyle. And yin kind of helps us do that. And I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy some time to really innercise, really feel that peace. All right, allow the arms to come down to either side of the body. Use that left hand on the outer left leg to bring that left knee up. So you got the sole of the foot on the mat with the knee facing up, and go ahead and hug that left knee into the chest. As you're hugging that left knee in, you're gonna feel a release in that left quadricep. It's also a stretch of that left hip. Stretching that hip out in a different direction here. So qualities of yin and yang are different. When you look at the yin yang symbol, you'll notice one side's white, that's the yang side. The dark side is the yin side. So the quality of yin and yang are different. Yang is considered masculine, yin is considered feminine. Yin is the moon, yang is the sun. So again, they have different qualities to them. I'm just trying to balance everything out. Well, the astronauts, they explored outer space. The Indians, they're exploring their inner space, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. So again, I'm going to be really quiet, let you take these next few seconds and really enjoy this time of innercising. Still breathing deeply in and out through that nose. We haven't lost that connection to that breath. That's real important. All right, Dirk and everyone else, release the hands to either side of the body. You're going to keep that left knee where it's at. You're going to do some gentle rotations. So go ahead and take that left knee to the right. You're gentle, you're controlled, you're going at your own pace. Gently stop, go the opposite direction. Again, you're gentle, you're slow, you're controlled. And gently stop, go ahead and hug that knee back in. Take a couple more nice deep exhales. And for somatic reasons, I want you to hug both knees in. Compare how those hips feel now. Hopefully they feel more balanced. That's the goal. Go ahead and allow the sole of that right foot to come onto the mat, and allow the sole of that left foot to come onto the mat. We're going to come into a lying-bound cobbler. So allow the knees to open up to either side. Maybe put the left hand onto your heart, the right hand onto the stomach. Just breathe in nice and deep. Beginning, we talked about yin, getting into the hips and the spine. Now we're getting into the pelvis. A nice external rotation of the hips. And it's getting into the inner legs and that pelvis. Breathing nice and deep, in and out through that nose. It's very relaxing. Again, if this pose doesn't feel right, please skip the pose, but stay connected to that breath. I find the lying bound cobbler is very, very relaxing. Quiet and just let you enjoy this relaxing time. Go ahead and release the hands to either side of the body. Have the right hand touch the right thigh, the left hand touch the left thigh, and very gently bring those knees in. Take your time. When the soles of the feet come onto the mat, we're going to go into something called lying teepee pose. So scissor your feet to the edge of the mat, but keeping the feet onto the mat. Allow the knees to come come towards each other. Now they don't have to touch, okay, that's okay. They can come towards each other. That gives us an internal rotation of those hips. Again, internal rotations are just as important as external rotations. Go ahead and have the left hand back on the heart, the right hand onto the stomach. Just breathe nice and deep. Another benefit that we get out of Yin Yoga, just by holding these poses just a minute and a half, is that we produce something called hyaluronic acid. When we're kids, we played all the time. We never were stiff or sore the next day. But as adults, as we age, we stop producing that hyaluronic acid. But holding these poses for a minute and a half has shown that we can actually produce that. So you'll know the benefits, not only today, but probably the next day as well. And it's also proven that Yin Yoga improves the quality of sleep. So doing this before going to bed does help improve that quality of sleep. We've got a sleep number bed, and whenever I do Yin at least once a week personally, and I notice that my sleep number is better when I do Yin. So again, I'm going to be very quiet here. Let you guys enjoy your time of innercising. Alright, allow those arms to come down to either side of the body. Just open those knees very gently and center the feet back to the center. And now we're going to do a supported bridge pose. So you're going to take your block. You're going to lift the hips up, and you're going to place that block underneath the sacrum. And that's going to help release the tailbone from the sacrum. The hands are resting comfortably on either side. The shoulders are squared. The head is facing towards the ceiling. The eyes are closed. You never want to, when you're in a bridge pose, you never want to turn your head. You want to keep it facing up towards that ceiling. That's very important. This again is a nice external rotation of that spine. Extension, spinal extension. It's also very relaxing. A lot of people who have sciatica like to do this, and doesn't mean that's for everybody with sciatica, but a lot of people with sciatica do find a lot of relief in this pose. And we're only holding it for a minute and a half. We're not doing the full 3 to 5 minutes. I'll be very quiet here and let you enjoy this time. So come out of the pose, gently lift the hips up, take the block on out, and one vertebra at a time, very slowly come down. You're going to feel that the top of the back, the mid back, and that low back is going to be the very last. Take your time. And we're going to do our final pose. We're going to hug the right knee in, followed by the left knee, both knees in. Now, as we're doing that, the tailbone's not arching up. If it is, it's a sign you need to come out of that stretch. You want that spine flat on the mat. So go ahead. When you hug the knees into the chest like that, it releases the hamstrings from the glutes. And a lot of times people with achy backs have tight hamstrings. So this is a great way to loosen up those hamstrings. Yin is actually considered the very first form of yoga. The Indians, many, many thousands of years ago, they actually meditated all day, and they did that in certain poses. And what they found out was by staying in the same position all day long, they ended up getting blood clots, their muscles atrophied. So they watched nature, and they've come up with the poses that we know of today through the nature. And so Yin Yoga was actually considered the first form of yoga. Here we are, all these years later, doing a more gentler version, getting the healing effects of that. And I'm going to be quiet, let you enjoy these last few seconds, just completely relaxed, completely at peace. Now, some people like to massage the tailbone, and some people do not. If that is not right for you and your tailbone, just stay where you're at and enjoy those nice deep exhales. If you would like to go side to side, you can. That's one way, going side to side on the spine. But for some people, that still doesn't feel good on the spine. For them, they need to keep the spine still and just move the knees to the right a little, knees to the left a little. And that's a safe way for some people with low back pain to massage that tailbone. So I'll let you just do that, getting that circulation going. Now everybody can stop and hug those knees on in. Take a couple more nice deep exhales on that low back, just releasing that tension. Go ahead and release the right leg, allowing the right, either sole of the foot to come onto the ground, or you can extend the leg out. Same with the left. Release the left leg, allowing the sole of that left foot to come onto the ground, or you can extend it with the left heel on the ground. This is the point of our practice where we stop breathing deeply and we come back to the natural rhythm of our breath. We're preparing for Shavasana, our resting pose. So just take a moment here, just relax. Dirk likes to have that low block on his neck. You guys can put your blanket there, anything you want to do. I want you to be nice and comfortable. Alright, I want you to think about your right shoulder, your right elbow, that right wrist. I want you to relax and release that area. I want you to think about the left shoulder, the left elbow, the left wrist. Just relax and release that area. The right hip, the right knee, the right ankle. Just relax and release. The left hip, the left knee, the left ankle. Just relax and release. The low back, the mid back, and the upper back. Just relax and release. The crown of your head and your scalp. Just relax and release. I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy these next couple of minutes of your resting time. Gently wiggle your fingers, gently wiggle your toes, and relax the fingers and relax the toes. Only halfway, very softly, begin to open the eyes and gently close the eyes. Taking a nice big inhale through the nose, followed by a nice cleansing exhale out through that nose. Very softly begin to open the eyes. You don't want to get up too quickly, so if possible, log roll onto the left side of the body, putting your hands in prayer position, cradling your head into your hands, just cultivating the peace, the tranquility that we got out of today's practice. If you're wondering at the end why I always have you log roll onto the left side, left is considered a yin quality and right is considered a yang quality. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and put the right hand onto the mat. Slowly come up into a comfortable seated position. Again, the legs can be crisscrossed, they can be extended, V-sit, whatever feels good to you. Take those shoulders up, draw them down, and inhale the hands up, reaching for a gentle length, palms together, exhaling down to heart center. Dirk and I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today. Hope you have a great night's sleep. Namaste.
Namaste.